Hello, hello, I'm Sasha of Sasha Makes Cards, and welcome to the monthly YouTube hop for Cherry on Top Crafts. The theme for this month's hop is travel, so I decided to create a card featuring the 100 Acre Wood stamp set and the Element sticker sheet from the Winnie the Pooh Echo Park release. Now, when I first saw this release, I knew I had to get my hands on something. I had to use it, because how could you not love Winnie the Pooh? It's an adorable release. I love it, and they have since come out with a Winnie the Pooh Christmas release, which, don't even get me started. I want that one too. You just can't go wrong with Winnie the Pooh. But as I was trying to figure out what I was going to be making for this hop, I remembered I got the map, the 100 Acre Wood stamp set from this release, which is a nice little map. I thought that fits perfectly with the travel theme, so that's what I decided to go with. I first started by stamping the map onto a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of cardstock using the Gina K Designs Obsidian ink. Now, since this is a larger stamp, you have to stamp it several times and apply a decent amount of pressure to make sure you get a good impression using the stamp. After I did that, I then wiped off the stamp using my Lawn Fawn stamp chamois, removed it from my stamp positioning tool, and then started to distress the background. So my plan for this card is to create kind of a vintage style old map to put on the front and then use the stickers to help decorate it a little bit and add a sentiment. I first started by using some frayed burlap distress oxide to start initially distressing it, just kind of ink blending it, haphazardly putting on the color. I also used the scorched timber distress oxide, which is the latest color distress oxide and has also become one of my favorites for this kind of thing, for the natural, grungy distress look. I also used some of that to make it a little darker and help the distressing. I used a regular blending brush to cover larger areas, as well as the tiny blending foam brushes from Ranger to get smaller areas. Once I was done with some of the initial ink blending, I then started to do one of my favorite parts when it comes to creating these heavily distressed grungy cards, is crumpling up the paper. This part is super fun because you don't really have to worry about having it look perfect. You kind of just crumple it up in every which way, folding it, bending it, ripping it a little bit, and it will all work out in the end, and it's a really fun process to do. To add even more to the distressing, I also took a pair of scissors, scraped up the edges, tore them a little bit, rolled them, used my fingernails to scrape at the edges, and just really helped to distress and kind of tear up the paper more. I then went in with black soot distress oxide to add some darkness and black to the very corners and the edges of the map to give it an even grungier look. And of course, like I said earlier, the crumpling of the paper is my favorite part of the process while distressing, so of course I crumpled it even more. I also then decided to use some Prismacolor Premier colored pencils to add some green to the trees very lightly, just very quickly going over it to add that color into the card. And again, knowing me, is it a mixed media card without the splatter? No. So I sprayed some scorched timber distress oxide spray off to the side and then used a fan brush to splatter it onto the card background or the little map that I just created. To finish off the card, I then used some liquid adhesive to glue the map onto an A2 size card base as well as place some stickers from the element sticker sheet onto the map. I decided to go with one of the Winnie the Pooh images, as well as a sentiment, and 2 of the little banners, one brown banner and then one green banner to kind of match the trees that I did. There are so many adorable stickers on the sticker sheet. It's times like these when I see materials, stickers, ephemera, things like that from these types of collections that I just really want to try, like journaling or something. Maybe I'll try that in the future. Maybe a future video, who knows? But there's so many adorable things, especially with that Christmas release Winnie the Pooh Echo Park collection I mentioned earlier. It's also adorable, and I need a reason to use it. So maybe I'll try that, you never know. But anyways, that is the completed card project for today. Thank you so much for watching. I will be sure to have the links in the description, as always, for the supplies I used, as well as links to the entire Winnie the Pooh Echo Park collection, as well as the Christmas Winnie the Pooh Echo Park collection that I mentioned, as they are both available at a cherry on top, and they're both adorable in Winnie the Pooh, so how could you go wrong with that? But I will also leave the complete list for the monthly YouTube hop below so that you can hop along with the rest of the design team for a chance to win a $25 gift card to shop at a cherry on top crafts, as well as links to my social media if you want to check me out there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.